acknowledge me, the one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops. And what a round of AFL footy it was this weekend. But the centerpiece of this show today is going to be around the nuffies in the media today. Headlined by Sam Edmund, the Port Adelaide nuffie, Michaelangelo Rucci, Tom Morris, John Ralph, and anyone talking crap about the St Kilda Football Club from a trade point of view, players that are so-called unhappy, which is all bullshit. Ross the boss went whack on all the Port Adelaide nuffies and all the nuffies spreading bullshit trade unrest at the club. And I absolutely love what Ross did on Footy Classified last night and in his presser today at St Kilda headquarters in Moorabbin. That's going to be the centerpiece of this show this evening. And my team of the week, my Supercoach talk, everything in between. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. If you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees or any state league players, and you want to see them on the channel in a Gold King Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. Go and check out my recent Scoops AFLW show is back last night, so go and check it out. We'd greatly appreciate it on Monday night. My Scoops VFLW medal from last week, I would really recommend you go and watch that. I would greatly appreciate it. I love doing my Scoops medals for all the leagues I cover it in. And any interviews in between all that, we'll have some more coming up. I already had some recorded, just haven't been able to post yet. They'll be all coming out soon as well. Yeah, so let's just cut the bullshit. Let's start off with the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Now, when I tell you that Scoops Goes Bang is going to be so explosive this evening, trust me when I tell you it's going to be explosive. And I'm going to put this in the top 3 category. I haven't even said a word, and I reckon it's going to be in the top 3 Scoops Goes Bang rants of all time. And let me talk to you, Michaelangelo Rucci, Tom Morris, Sam Edmund, John Ralph, and any other clown in the AFL media that wants to talk a lot of crap. This is for you to pay attention. Now, some of the following footage I'm going to show you is from Footy Classified last night, where Ross Lyon was on there, was asked some questions from Eddie Maguire, Tom Morris, Rory Sloane, and this is what he had to say to all the bullshit about the so-called unrest at the Saints. And there's some separate clips I want to talk about, but here's the first one.
Ross, can I ask you about some unrest among some players towards particularly the list management strategy and reports around the last 24 to 48 hours that Callum Wilkie and some others have been a bit frustrated around some of the players that you
Others is very broad.
Okay, well, I'll give you some names. So Windhager, Howard, Steele,
Windhager's
Butler.
unsigned.
You understand that?
Yeah.
So
Steele's contracted and captain.
Yep. There's plenty of players who move when they're contracted as well, though. Not saying he will.
Well, no, let's dive into a few reports. So Callum Wilkie rang me. He goes, I've never entertained leaving St Kilda. I love St Kilda, Ross. I love what we're doing.
That's right. So speaking of managers, I spoke to...
Don't dismiss that.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
That was 6:30 tonight, right?
I'm agreeing
hang
with you.
on, hang on.
Yeah.
Free, go. Say that again. So Wilkie rang you at 6:30 tonight and said
in
what?
the car in my driveway, Ross, I've never entertained going anywhere else. I love St Kilda. I love what we're doing. We can really pat. Am I concerned like the rest of us about Nazaya and can we get him done? Absolutely. I said, well, so am I, mate. So I think that speaks volumes.
The other guys?
Look, there's trying and really trying. Like, the spirit must be and the unrest must be at an incredibly high level because we actually come from 46 points at three-quarter time. We've won 4 close games. If you're not trying and your spirit's wavering, you flick the bails. That's not what we do, right? Yeah. So Jack Steele played Saunders game. We had an incredible function. Gil McLaughlin was there, as you noted. He had a good chat to Naz, so we loved that. And we come together as a club. So there's a lot going right. And I hear the noise about contracted players. So a couple of things I'll say to that. Unless the free agency rules are changed, I would think contracted players are at your club unless you decide otherwise. And as Chris Scott said to me, Kelly wanted to go home. He had children under duress, needed family support. But we weren't trading him. They kept him for another 12 months and got 2 first-round picks and got Cameron through the door. And he said to me, Ross, if you're a club and you trade your contracted players, put your shingle up and say, we're not a very good club. So everyone wants to model Geelong, and on this front, I'll be modelling Geelong.
Yeah. So Steele, Rowan Marshall, contracted players.
We love them all. Yeah. There's no one I love and laugh more with Rowe today. Yeah. they said today in the gym, do you ever do anything bad and get reported? I said, I don't know, mate, maybe get on YouTube.
No, I wasn't just...
did a lot of things bad, but didn't get reported because of
That's true as well.
So first of all, Sam Edmund and Michaelangelo Rucci, and Tom Morris to a degree, but mainly Michaelangelo Rucci and Sam Edmund, you should both be embarrassed with the crap you spilled out this week. Now, we're going to get to Tim Watson and Harley Reid in just a second, but this is centered around Sam Edmund in particular, the Carlton supporter, and Michaelangelo Rucci, the Port Adelaide nuffie. Now, we're going to get to that component in just a second. But as for the unrest of St Kilda and Cal Wilkie, you can put this to bed. He's the future captain of this club. He ain't leaving. I made a post on the night before Footy Classified where all this bullshit was coming in about Wilkie and that from Rucci and from Sam Edmund. I said from then in that moment, I said, this is complete and utter bullshit. He's the future captain. He ain't going anywhere. And why would he? I'm glad Ross went on the front foot and said, Cal rang me tonight when this show aired, before the show aired, and said, don't worry, Ross, I'm not going anywhere. I love the vision. I love the club, and that's where I'm staying. Love it. Cal went whack, and Ross went whack. As for Rowan Marshall, Winhager, and Steele, Steely is contracted, and he ain't going anywhere. Rowan Marshall is contracted. Now, if Rowan Marshall or Winhager were to leave, it has absolutely nothing to do with this so-called unrest, because there is none. The only unrest is in the media who talk complete and utter bullshit. This is the biggest bullshit I've ever read. Wilkie isn't unhappy. None of those players are unhappy at all. That is complete and utter dog shit. And it's about time these morons, Edmund and Rucci in particular, have all been punished for their bullshit. Kane Corns got dumped from the Bulldogs in North Melbourne. St Kilda should follow suit with every one of these losers and kick them out for good. Ban them as well. Now, the unrest, they keep linking to Koning and Aaliyah. When you get to Sam Edmund and Michaelangelo Rucci in just a second in particular, in what they detailed and why they are trying to ride the Carlton shill is Sam Edmund, and Michaelangelo Rucci is the biggest Port Adelaide nuffie and shill going around. Michaelangelo Rucci is the Dave Meltzer of journos. And if anyone who doesn't know who Dave Meltzer is, he's one of the biggest losers in the wrestling media, and anything he says is bullshit. And surprise, surprise, Michaelangelo Rucci, who gets a lot of bullshit wrong, this included, is complete dog shit. Now, Mr. Rucci, Mr. Edmund, how about you watch this?
I think unrest, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of half-baked stories. I mean, that's what I see. And to be honest, I heard the Rucci stuff, right? Like, and I listened to it. I thought it was two old blokes having a beer and a barbecue in the backyard. And, I mean...
What was he saying?
Hey,
I missed it.
Well, there's unrest, and Wilkie and Marshall will be somewhere else, and they got to trade Steele out to free their cap. It was just... There was no substance, no rigour. And I was like, Rooch, you sent me postcards from Italy where you're herding the sheep and counting the sheep. And, like, to be honest, you're a Port Adelaide nuffie. Like, let's move on. Without being denigrated, but does he write content for the Port Adelaide Sandford Club? Is he a mad Port Adelaide? Are they trying to get us into a bit of turmoil? Is that what's happened to Collingwood? Everyone's trying to unsettle Collingwood. You know, next minute Cameron's signed. It's all part of the theatre. It's all part of feeding the chooks. I'm no problem.
And I'm one of the chooks, I guess. Isn't that right? Like with the journalists and the media.
We feed the chooks out to the public. You feed the chooks, don't you?
Yeah.
Flick the switch to vaudeville. Joe Bjelke-Petersen.
Okay. So just to put a line under all that, though, you're very happy with where you're sitting with Messiah?
Well, no. Yeah, I'm concerned like everyone else.
You're doing everything you can.
We're doing everything we can. Yeah. And I've got no further updates. But hopefully behind the wall that we've put up, there's good negotiations going on.
Yes, Michaelangelo Rucci is an editorial consultant for the Port Adelaide Football Club from March of 2020 to current. So 5 years and 6 months currently in the position at Alberton. All of the Port Adelaide Football Club sample side, women's side, and AFL side are all one club. They're all in the same facilities. They're all in the same building. They play at Alberton Oval for the women's side. They play at Alberton Oval for the sample side. And the men's AFL side train there, just like the women's side do, just like the sample side do. Michaelangelo Rucci will from now on be called the Port Adelaide Nuffie or Mr. Rucci. Plus, Michaelangelo, what kind of name is that? But that's a whole nother argument. Michaelangelo Rucci is the Port Adelaide Nuffie, Mr. Rucci. Now, this guy is the Dave Meltzer of journos. I've made this clear so many times before, and I'm going to say it again. What Ross said was fantastic. Ross the boss, went whack on Rucci, as I did the night before. So, this is nothing but a smear campaign from Rucci, the Port Adelaide Nuffie, and from Sam Edmund, the Carlton Nuffie. It's as simple as this. Both those two individuals have been thrown bullshit just to scare Malira from staying at the Saints. Now, if Malira was to go to SA, it wouldn't be because of this bullshit, because this bullshit that Rucci and Edmund have been saying is complete nonsense and crap. But put yourself in the Sire's shoes here and Tom De Koning's shoes. But I'll separate it for now. Let's just talk about the Port Adelaide Nuffie Rucci from the Port Adelaide side of things. Rucci put out this bullshit because he knows that Naz is 50-50. If we are to believe all that, we think his Naz is a 50-50 call, whether he goes to St Kilda, stays to St Kilda, or goes to Port. Now, I feel like personally he's out off to Port anyway, but that's just a personal opinion. That's not off knowing anything definitively. That's where I think it's going. But, because the later it is, the worse it gets, right? But, here's the thing. If we are to believe what Naz and that are saying, and that's that he's undecided, then okay. So if you're Naz and you're genuinely 50-50 right now, okay? Because let's be real, St Kilda are better than Port Adelaide on the ladder, realistically, right? We beat them and we're better than them. And Zach Butters is going to leave them next year anyway, so they're going to lose their best player soon. And Bergman will leave in a few years' time. But anyway, that's besides the point, okay? That's besides the point. So, because Naz is undecided, okay, do you really think logically here, do you think that Naz, reading this, if this was to be accurate, which it isn't, but if you're Naz and you're undecided and you're reading this bullshit that Wilkie's unhappy, that Marshall's unhappy, that Windhager's unhappy, that Steele's unhappy, that Naz isn't happy, like, that is complete and utter bullshit. This is nothing but a smear campaign from Rucci and Edmund. It's as simple as that. Rucci, the Port Adelaide Nuffie, wants Naz to join Port. He knows deep down that Naz is 50-50. So he's trying to put it in the favour of Port Adelaide by trying to scare Malira away from St Kilda to Port Adelaide. Now, people try and tell me, oh, this actually might favour Naz to stay at St Kilda, if anything. That's bullshit. That's just typical Port fans talking complete and utter nonsense. If I was in Naz's shoes and living in SA or from SA, at St Kilda currently, right, and I'm undecided and I'm reading this crap from Rucci, I may be persuaded to go to Port just off the back of that alone, because you're 50-50 already. Then you read that. And how I know the Rucci stuff is bullshit, like I said the night before last, is because on what planet did Rowan Marshall, supposedly, according to Rucci, according through Wilkie from Rucci, that Marshall was blindsided and wasn't happy that he supposedly wasn't told of the De Koning plans earlier? Mate, we've all known about Tom De Koning leaving Carlton for months. How the hell can you tell me that Rowan Marshall does not know that De Koning is coming to St Kilda? You are talking complete shit. This is nothing to do with Rowe. This is all on Rucci and Sam Edmund. Talking complete and utter bullshit. Wilkie ain't leaving. Steele ain't leaving. If Marshall was to leave, it's got nothing to do with this bullshit and got absolutely nothing to do with De Koning potentially coming in. It's more on the position that he wants to play. He wants to play more ruck than forward. I think Rowe's a great forward. I think De Koning can play forward. They can split the duties. But this is not about that. This is about the smear campaign that Rucci and Edmund are spreading. Complete and utter bullshit. I love that Ross whacked them all and said they got no credibility whatsoever. They're nuffies. They're the whole thing. They are absolute morons. Now, Rucci is now officially Rucci has officially put himself in the Kane Corns bracket of stupidity. Sam Edmonds is one step further from joining them in that group of idiots. I think Sam Edmund normally does a good job. Some things are wrong over time, and this one is completely ridiculous. And Tom Morris isn't escaping this either. Tom, I appreciate everything you did for me the first time around, but lately, the smear campaign you started against St Kilda, I don't appreciate. But also, Tom, if I'm being honest, people said you were taking the piss out of me back then in that video. So, yeah. Also, Sam Edmund. Now, the St Kilda component with De Koning and Lekalia, and the bullshit you said about Sam Edmund that you said about Cal Wilkie as well, along with Rucci. Rucci called it. He was saying that Winhager, that Steele, that Marshall, that Wilkie, Maliro were all out. He didn't even say maybe. He said they're all out, which is just laughable because Rucci's a moron and the Dave Meltzer of journos. He's a guy with a platform that talks shit, basically, and he's employed by Port Adelaide for their Stanford side. I wonder why Rucci is running with that. Because he wants Naz to come to Port, and where does Rucci work? Works at Port. Who does he support? Port Adelaide. Even in that photo I showed you, he's wearing a Port Adelaide tie. I rest my case with that nuffie. I'm done with him. Talking complete shit is Rucci, the Port Adelaide nuffie. And Sam Edmund, okay, we'll finish this part with him. So, you know, Tom's coming to St Kilda. We can see that. But you are doing a last-ditch effort for Carlton, Sam Edmund, to try and scare Tom away from joining St Kilda. You're trying to put it out there that the same senior leaders like Steele and Marshall and Wilkie don't want Lekalia or Tom De Koning at St Kilda. That's exactly what you're doing. You're trying to scare them players away because you want them for your own team. It's plain and simple. It's crystal clear what this is. Like I said, this is a smear campaign from Sam Edmund and Rucci, the Port Adelaide nuffie. That's all you're doing. You are trying to scare them away from joining because you're trying to make a large ditch effort to keep them at your banter club. Just because Carlton's shit right now doesn't mean you have to try and make another team shit. You know what's shit? Your journalistic career is shit, Rucci. And Sam, you're heading that way if you keep talking crap. Who does Sam Edmund go for, ladies and gentlemen? Carlton. Who's he trying to scare away? Tom De Koning. Who does Rucci support and work for? And who is Naz been linked to? Port Adelaide. You know what I'll laugh after all this? If Naz was to leave, I'll be disappointed. But I now hope if he was to leave, it's to the Adelaide Football Club. Then Rucci screwed his own club by talking shit. And that would be completely hilarious. That Rucci does all this smear campaign to try and persuade Naz to join Port. And if he went the other way and went to Adelaide, that'd be absolutely hilarious, Rucci, and you would have screwed your own club. Maybe they might dump you for screwing them over. Embarrassing. And Sam Evan, you really need to lift your game. And another person who needs to lift their game, let's watch this clip. Because Tim Watson, talk about spreading bullshit. Well, Tim Watson has just joined Rucci and Edmund in the nuffie list. Here it is. in talks about Harley Reid.
Without going through the phone book, we did speak before the show, and I mentioned it in the promo, so we better get the question out. Harley Reid, I said, you told me before, you've not even spoken to him.
Never spoken to Harley Reid in my life.
He's not on the St Kilda agenda.
So, and I love Tim. I do love Tim.
Tim Watson, who said it
But
on
he
the
got
radio.
this one wrong. And I think it's... I mean, you just voiced the CEO, Don Piker, we all love and respect, is frustrated at their end for whatever reason for Harley in negotiations. So clearly they think there's something out in the ether that's getting in their way. Well, it certainly isn't me.
Well, no, I know where it comes from too, and a lot of the time it does stem from management. Management want to throw these numbers out there to drive players' price up. Because
What, a player manager?
Yes, they do. And then media get hold of it too. They get a nice 4% lick of $2 million.
Player managers speak to the media.
I absolutely love what Rory Sloane said there, by the way. Player managers are to blame as well. Trying to get more money for their clients. I get that's their job, but that's not the right way to go about it. Now, Tim Watson, $25 million for Harley Reid over 10 years. Bullshit. And number one, it's fake news for starters, so I'm not even going to entertain that, really. Are we interested in Harley Reid, potentially? Has Ross Lyon met with Harley Reid? No, he hasn't. He said that. Has Sauce, Stephen Silvani and Gabby Allen met with Harley Reid? Who knows? But I will believe Ross. I won't listen to bullshit like Tim Watson, Sam Edmund, and Rucci have said, the Port Adelaide nuffie. Are St Kilda interested in Harley Reid? Probably. But not at that length of money or years. Or maybe the years, but not the money. That's bullshit. And where was the same energy for West Coast offering him a deal like that? And Essendon and Hawthorn throwing big offers like that, and Geelong. Where was that energy for other clubs offering long-term deals to Harley Reid at that similar money range, if not more, or equal to that fake report from Tim Watson? Like, where was the energy there? Where was the having a go at Essendon and Hawthorn and Geelong and West Coast for throwing ridiculous money out for Harley Reid? I didn't see that energy there. Why are you bringing it here? Because you're just part of the anti-St Kilda campaign that some morons are throwing out there. It's a smear campaign. You're trying to scare players away. You're trying to just be an idiot, really, and look for clickbait. And, well, you got your clickbait. Now piss off. Now, let's just say, in summary, St Kilda got a lot of money in the salary cap. You have to spend a certain amount of money over a certain amount of years period. I think it's 3 or 4 year period. You have to spend X amount of money. St Kilda are well under that money quota you have to use. So therefore, that's why they can afford to offer Leclerc around 800 and Tom DeConing around 1.6 and Naz around that. You also got to keep in mind when you hear, oh, how can you throw Naz 1.6 potentially as well, right? Well, let me talk to you. How that could happen. Simple. Let's say Naz is on 800,000 right now. It's only an additional 800,000 that you're throwing out there, not 1.6. So people need to really do their math skills. Okay? And players retire, players get delisted, players get traded out. That money gets thrown in. St Kilda's already got extra money compared to some other clubs. Extra money in terms of they haven't used it. Geelong are the ones that are over the salary cap, and they've got an unlimited salary cap, just like the Bulldogs do. Geelong and Fremantle have. And Hawthorn seem to have as well. But we haven't spent our full quota of money. And you have to spend it over a certain amount of years. So this is clearly the year where they've got to spend it. So why not throw out more money to other players you want to try and acquire and bring them to the club? I am absolutely looking forward to having Tom DeConing and Leclerc at the Saints. And hopefully some more good acquisitions coming in as well. Hopefully Naz signs up with the Saints and Rowe stays. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. In summary, Rucci, Edmund, Morris, Watson, and Co., who have been talking shit this week, you are the journo nuffie. Simple as that. And that's exactly what Michaelangelo Rucci is, the Port Adelaide nuffie. Hope you all lift your game. Pathetic. Now, I hope you all enjoyed that long top 3 of all time rant for Scoops Goes Bang. Now, it's time to go through my Scoops Around 22 AFL Team of the Week. From the back line, the Pockets, Harris Andrews and Darcy Wilmot. Full back, Aaliyah. Half back line, the flank is Jack Sinclair. And Archie Roberts. Centre half back, St Kilda's future captain, Callum Wilkie. Wingers, Ed Richards and Marcus Winhager. A Saint. Centreman, Finn Callahan. Half forward line, the flankers, Isaac Heaney and Toby Green. Centre half forward, Aaron Norton. Forward pockets, put some respects on these two guys' names, Liam McMahon and Frank the Tank Francis Evans. Full forward, all hail the king, Ben King. Ruck. A top 3 ruck in the competition, Rowan Marshall. A Saint. Rovers, Will Ashcroft and Matt Rowell. Interchange, Josh Dunkley, Ruben Chinby, Sandy Brock, Mark Keane and Luke Parker. The emergencies, Callum Brown, Nasiah Wanganeen Malira, Josh Battle, James Sicily, Lloyd Meek and Jai Newcomb. Now, here is the graphic to put up on the screen for you all to see. Now, reasons for these selections. Harris Andrews had like 15 1%ers and same for intercept possession, so I'm just not even going to answer why. Alira had like a goal, his first goal for Port Adelaide, 24 disposals, like 14 marks, try 17 marks, I think. So he absolutely deserved it. Darcy Wilmot kicked 2 goals and 27 was a lock. He was so good for Brisbane. Jack Sinclair, a goal and 31. Saints put him in the midfield in the last quarter, did Ross, and if he wasn't in the midfield in the last quarter, we may not have won that. So Sinks is a star. Cal Wilkie had 29 disposals for a key defender. Do I need to say more? Had like 11 1%ers and intercept possessions. Archie Roberts had 34 disposals. He was Essendon's best player, along with Liam McMahon. Ed Richards had like 14 score involvements, 2 goals and 30 touches, deserved a spot. Finn Callahan, a goal and 31. He was really good for the Giants. Marcus Winhager, 34 disposals, like 8 clearances and tackles. He is a star, Windy. Isaac Heaney kicked 5 and 23. Aaron Norton kicked 5. Toby Green kicked 3 and 23. Liam McMahon kicked 4 goals, 10 disposals, like 8 marks. His presence in the Essendon forward line was strong and the best player on the ground for me in that game. Frank the Tank, Francis Evans, 4 goals, 14 disposals, 8 marks. He had like 7 score involvements as well, did Frankie Evans. Absolutely warrants a spot. Put some respect on Francis Evans, who may have won himself a new deal at the Blues. And is already their best small forward, to be honest. And they haven't got much, though, but still he's been good the last month. Rowan Marshall, a goal, 24 disposals. He was really good, about 30 hit-outs. He dominated Toby Nankervis. Will Ashcroft had 31 disposals, deserved a spot. Matt Rowell had 30 disposals, then win over the Blues. Look, I think he was just really dominant in their midfield. Had a lot of contested positions. It's not as much as he normally has, but still was very impactful and had like 10 clearances as well, did Matt Rowell. Interchange, Josh Dunkley, a goal and 31 and about 7 tackles was good. Ruben Jimby played well on Rolly Thilthorpe despite the goals he got. You got to watch the whole game properly. Sandy Brock killed it in the Eagles' back line, and they really deserved the win there, the Eagles, over the Crows. Mark Keane was really good in their back line as a key defender, and Luke Parker, I think, was North's best player against the Giants in Canberra. Now, Callum Brown kicked 5, so he was very stiff, but he'd kicked 4 of those in the first half and did nothing for the second half. I mean, you could say he was stiff, but look at the forwards I've got there. So none of them are going out, so therefore he was stiff to miss it. I could have put him on the bench over one of the key defenders, but it is what it is. Naz was good, but not as good as the other mids. Josh Battle and Sicily, same for them, not as good as the other defenders. And Lloyd Meek was the next ruck chosen, and Jai Newcomb was pretty good in the midfield, but again, not as good as the other midfielders as well. So that's my team of the week. Comment down below what you think. Now, my super coach, I scored 2,476, which I'm really happy with that score. But what's annoying is I did not gain any spots up in the rankings. So I'm still top 16%. I was top 7% about a month and a half ago. So I'm really annoyed that I've dropped down the top 16%. So I've stayed there from last round to this round. But the scores are just insane the last month or two. It's like I'm scoring 2,400 and not really going up and sometimes dropping. It's just ridiculous. Some people have got over 3,000 the round or two ago. It's just like insanity how that's even happening. It is what it is. I've got 0 trades left. Jai Simpkins a test this week, I think. I've got a few other players that are now ruled out for the year. I have rookie cover. Archie Maisie out for 2 to 3 weeks, so the season. He was my backup for Dry Simpkins, so now I'll have only 22. If he doesn't play, will Connor Rosie go in for surgery? He better not. He better play the last 2 games. So my bench cover injured in Bo Allen as well, so who's out for the year and has been for the last few weeks. I've got Boxall to cover any midfielders like Zach Merritt, who's out this week with a hand injury or a wrist injury. So it's like, come on, seriously. So I'm just hoping no more injuries and everything like that. My captain this week will probably be a Saints player. Well, vice captain. Time will tell. But there you go. So comment down below your thoughts on my team of the week, what you would have changed and all that. And also, please let me know how you've gone in your Supercoach. Congratulations to Shano, who is still on top of my Supercoach rankings in my Scoops Fan Club League. Oh, just quickly too, if you want to join my A4W fantasy code, 1UGIZ3ME. Get onto it. I'd really appreciate it. Now, what else have we got? Watson from Hawthorn signed a new deal. Darcy Cameron has for Collingwood. That's massive news, as Rucci and all the other nuffies in the media said he was going to West Coast the last few weeks. So, well, they look like fools now, don't they? So, typical media talking shit. Colour me shocked. They only get some things right. And Riley Beveridge, by the way, on Gettable today was talking complete shit about St Kilda players. So, he's also joining the other people. And Kane Corns, the hack, said every time Ross Lyon mentions their age, drink. Just complete crap. Kane Corns bagging St Kilda again. It's been a while, Kane. Even when we're winning, you're still bitching. Can't believe you. Seriously. Grow up. So jealous of St Kilda doing better than Port and have a better future. Now let's review and preview the rounds just gone and upcoming to wrap us up this evening. The AFLW starts tomorrow night between Carlton and Collingwood at Icon Park. Get around it. It's going to be a great year, Season 10. Go watch my AFLW show if you haven't already, and my VFLW show also. I would really appreciate it. Let's review the games from the weekend just gone. I don't want to spend too much time on it, to be honest. Hawthorn 110, Collingwood 46, Hawthorn by 64 points. Credit to Hawthorn, they dominated the Pies. It's not panic stations for Collingwood. Gee, the amount of crap I'd seen Thursday night last week and throughout the week, even this week, people saying Collingwood had cooked. They're not cooked. You can lose a game, they can't win every game. Yes, this was very bad. Dacos brothers were still all right. Darcy Cameron needs to get a bit better. Membry and Myercheck and Elliott going okay in the forward line. They just need to be a bit more consistent. Pendlebury's still going well. Sidebone's played some good games this year. They just need to get more consistent for Hawthorn. All the players in my team in the weekend emergencies were their best players. So Battle, Lloyd Meek kicking 3 goals wasn't good from Darcy Cameron. Newcomb, Carl Amon was really good, or I didn't have on the emergency list. He was very good as well. Ginnifan done okay as well. So, yeah, a lot of Hawthorn players are really good. Friday night at GMHBA, Geelong 109, Essendon 65. Geelong by 44 points. Look, if you're a Geelong fan and you think you dominated this game, you have zero ball knowledge, because a lot of Geelong fans don't have ball knowledge, and Essendon absolutely were good. Faded away late, which is expected, but Essendon had some good chances to get in the lead. Liam McMahon, what a great game. 4 goals, 10 disposals, 4 to 8 marks. 8 marks, I think it was. He was fantastic. Archie Roberts, I thought Jay Gresham had a really good game as well. Mason Redmond had some good moments, and Zach Merritt, obviously their captain, played really well. Archie Roberts as well. Dylan Shield, by the way, has got a 1-week suspension, as has Rory Laird, and Liam Duggan has 2 weeks. So the first 2 that I mentioned, they went to the tribunal and both failed, and they both will remain suspended for a week. Well, Shield didn't fail. He was sent to the tribunal, and that's what he got, which I think is a bit outrageous, to be honest, but whatever. It's not a big one compared to some other ones. Laird and Duggan should not have been suspended. That's complete utter bullshit. And Thilthorpe, who was involved with the Duggan one, said he was fine and that Laird should get nothing. Not Laird, sorry, that Duggan should get nothing. And West Coast have accepted it, which I think is just silly. But it is what it is there. So, whatever. So, the Saturday games, Saints 56, Richmond 52, Saints by 4 points. Look, it wasn't a great win, but a win's a win. You move on. It's good to have some close games in terms of, in those scenarios. We should have beat them easily. We started so well in the first quarter. Richmond probably a bit better in the second and third quarter. And when Sinclair was in the midfield, the difference was made. Ross pulled the magnets. It's what I always say last year and this year, Ross. Play Jack Sinclair 90% in the midfield, please, Ross. I know you got a lot of other young players like Boxall who got the rising star. What on Hugo? Not Hugo. Hugo Garcia was good as well. But what on Hugh Boxall, the Box, earned the rising star. Taru, the Flying Viking, 16 disposals, 7 intercept possessions, 6 1%ers. He was a star. So dominant in the first half in particular. But Win Hagar, Sharman, Higgins, Steele played mainly forward. McRae was really good with 26 disposals and like 8 clearances. He was really good. All around a good team effort from individual players. Wilkie was amazing, 29 disposals and like 18 marks. He was phenomenal. For Richmond, Ryan Mansell was probably one of their better players, but what he did to Naz, I wasn't a big fan of that. Hopefully he doesn't do that again, because that was pretty disappointing. If you were there, you would know what I'm talking about. But it is what it is. We move on. Brisbane 90, Sydney 92. Sydney by 2 points. I knew this was a possibility to happen. Credit to the Swans. Great win. Their season's over. Brodie Grundy was really good, and he will miss this week, Brodie Grundy, against Geelong, unfortunately, due to, well, he passed his HIA test, but he's going to miss through concussion, so a bit confusing. Delayed concussion, obviously. Brodie Grundy won't play this week. Will be back for the last game, most likely, against Geelong. Peter Laddams will play then, that means. But they're really good, all round. Like Heaney, 5 goals and 23 was amazing. Grundy was solid in the ruck. I thought Darcy Fort held his own, to be honest. They didn't really have any major standouts. Chad Warner was good, kicking 2 and 26, I guess. Brisbane, it was all the Brisbane players I thought were really good. Will Ashcroft, Levi was fine. Harris Andrews, Darcy Wilmot, Dane Zorka was all right. Tom Doedee, his debut for the Lions, 2 years in the making after ACL injuries and setbacks. Great to see Tommy Doedee back. He was touted as a future captain at the Crows before he left. It's great to see him get on the park against the Swans. He did all right in his debut for them. But yeah, Hayden McLean and Peter Laddams will probably do the ruck work for the Swans this week. People got to remember that Logan McDonald hasn't played all year for Sydney. I don't think he's played all year. And if he has, he's only played 1 or 2 games. Like St Kilda missed Howard all year and a lot of other players like Max King. So when you have players like that out and you're limited for tools or talent in that area, it makes it even harder for a whole year, let alone a 6 to 10 week patch. So people got to give St Kilda and Sydney a bit more respect. But that late Serge from Brisbane almost scared the Swans. 3 goals in the last minute and a half. And there was like 6 seconds to go when the ball up for the last goal had happened. And they kicked the ball to the wing, did Chad Warner. Kicked the ball to the wing, did Chad Warner. And the Swans got the win. But a great win, though, if you watch the game properly, for all the Swans after Brisbane started so damn well. But it is what it is. Right, the next game to go through was the Twilight game on Saturday. Night game, Carlton Gold Coast, Carlton 74, Gold Coast 93. Gold Coast had a massive lead. Credit to Carlton and Frankie Evans and Patrick Cripps and George Hewitt and Tom de Koning, who led the surge there. And they almost stole it from Gold Coast. Ollie Hollins. No, Lockie Fogarty missed an easy goal that could have put it under 2 goals in the last 15 minutes or so. And, that really wouldn't have helped their cause because they really could have won that. But Gold Coast did what they have to do. Anderson was well held by Cooper Lord, who had an amazing game. But, Raul and Ben kicking 6 was fantastic. Poilade and Fremantle. Poilade 86, Freo 92, Freo by 6 points. Nat Fyfe was the sub and officially has announced his retirement yesterday. So well done to Nat Fyfe on an amazing career. Currently played 245 AFL games. Won't make it to 250 unless they make the granny. And he plays every game. A leader, a warrior, a superstar, a club legend, an AFL legend. Nat Fyfe has had an amazing career. A 2-time Brownlow medalist. Absolutely deserved those Brownlows. And an absolute superstar of the competition. He's made the right call because he's, been struggling with injuries and everything lately. And he injured his calf on the bench against St Kilda. Yes, he injured his calf sitting on the bench, which just tells you all that it needs to, that he needed to retire. And he's made the right move while he is still a superstar. So well done to Nat 5 on your career. Port Adelaide absolutely deserved this win. They had the lead for the majority of the game. And Freo, Patrick Voss and Josh Tracy, again, dumping players on their ass when they're on the ground. Very weak, piss weak from Mr. Voss. No wonder Essendon got rid of you. This guy seriously needs to pull his head out of his ass and pull his head in. Because the way he's acting is pathetic. They have the nicknames for him and whatever. It's completely disrespectful how he does that to his opponents. It's really not on, and he needs to pull his head in. It's pathetic. It's quite embarrassing. Port Adelaide deserved the win. Butters and Rosie and Alia were some of their better players. And for Freo, it was Sarong and Brayshaw were some of their better players, and Erasmus as well, who had 26 disposals. Sunday games, GWS 133, North Melbourne 79, the Giants by 54 points. No shock, got nothing to say. Callahan, Whitfield, Toby Green, Tom Green were fantastic. For North Melbourne, I want to give a lot of credit to Cooper Trenthworth on debut. Kicked 3 goals, had about 6 disposals. He was amazing. He was so close to making my team of the week. Had he had more than 6 disposals, he probably would have made it. But it was a hard week to get him with all the forwards they got what they got. And Geordie Payne, he brought the pain, kicked his first AFL goal as well under Geordie Payne on his debut goal. And Cooper Trenthworth, one for the future. He's only like 21, if that. Kicked 3 goals, strong presence, played on Sam Taylor, who he beat. That's 2 weeks in a row Sam Taylor's been beaten badly. Is he carrying an injury? I'll give Cooper Trenthworth all the credit in the world for that. Harry Sheezel was fantastic. Luke Davis-Uniacke was really good, despite only having about 20 touches. He was really impactful, I thought. Luke Parker was amazing as well. The next game to go through was Melbourne and the Bulldogs. Melbourne got robbed right in front of me. Riley Garcia's goal late was a throw, a scoop, whatever that led to the Riley Garcia goal. I think it was another Bulldogs player. I don't know who it was. Melbourne played really well. Troy Chaplin's their coach. Simon Goodwin got sacked, and it was the right move as well, to be honest. But we mentioned that last week, I think. Anyway, Ed Richards was the Bulldogs' best player, along with Aaron Norton. For Melbourne, Max Gawn was their best player, and Caleb Windsor done his hamstring. But Melbourne, they weren't disgraced. They done all right, and they deserved to win, to be honest. West Coast 78, speaking of who deserved to win, 78 West Coast, Adelaide 87, Crows by 9 points. Adelaide showed why they are pretenders. They're just simply not that good. Gettable today tried saying how good of a list they got, and they went through their best 22 for the next future years. They put Draper and Nasai in that team, and Draper's not even that good. Let's be real. And, guys like Isaac Cumming and James Peatling and, guys like that on the fringe, like, they're okay, but they're nothing special to brag about. Like, they went through some of their draft selections over time, like Saliga, they got in the 30s, which is good. Mark Keane was a delisted free agent, basically. That was good. But, you almost lost to West Coast. West Coast were in front for the majority of this game. They deserved to win. I was really disappointed for them because they absolutely warranted a win. Job Shanahan, fantastic. 3 goals. 3 goals. It was awesome to watch. Tim Kelly was really good again. He's having a good month, is Tim Kelly, in the AFL side. I thought, Tom McCarthy was really good. I thought Sandy Brock was amazing as a key defender. What a pickup he's been, and absolutely deserves a contract extension, which I believe he has gotten. Ruben Jimby done a great job on Riley Thilthorpe, despite what the scoreboard for Thilthorpe says. I thought Jimby was still better. Jimby had like 7 1%ers and 6 1%ers and 7 intercept possessions. So I thought he did really well. But unfortunately, the Crows got it done in the last quarter. Tex Walker did not play. I'm sure he'll be back this week. They almost lost without Tex, which shows they still need Tex Walker in their side. I'm sick of people giving them a cop-out excuse saying, the injuries, or they're not really trying. They only tried in the last quarter. People that have that mentality to say, They only tried at the end. But when it happens to St Kilda, I can't use that reason, but you can. It's bullshit. Give credit to West Coast. Give credit to these bottom sides that are beating these top sides or beating or close to beating them. You know, give them some credit. Put some respect on the Eagles' performance from the weekend, and Andrew McWalter will be happy with their performance to a degree as well. Now, that was reviewing the round 22 games. Now let's wrap up by previewing this weekend's games. Now, for what it's worth, I think the Western Bulldogs will miss out. I think everyone else is safe. Unless Fremantle lose to Brisbane and the Bulldogs, then they'll be out. But if Freo beat Brisbane, I think they make it. If they lose and then lose to the Bulldogs, well, then they're out, most likely, as the Bulldogs have got West Coast. Now, at Marvel, which West Coast were in a similar position with Bulldogs 2 years ago, 2023 at Marvel, I think it was. Bulldogs needed to win to make it, and they lost. So we'll see what happens this year. Friday night at Marvel Stadium, 7:20 p.m. Victorian time. It's Essendon and St Kilda. I'll be tipping my Saints by 30 points. We don't win big games. That's our big wins, around 30 points. So Saints by 30. Unfortunately, Paddy Dow hurt his collarbone in the VFL game. He was on the verge of returning, had a bad infection in his knee, I think it was. Wretched run of injuries in Paddy Dow, Paddy Wow. He's got a contract for next year, so I'm glad he'll be there next year. Wish Paddy all the best. Thinking of you again, mate. Through rotten luck, he would have made his return this week, unfortunately, in the AFL. Should have been in last week, Ross. 8:35 p.m. Victorian time, Friday night at Optus Stadium. It's Freo in Brisbane. It'll be a good game. I'll be tipping Brisbane this one by 10 points. The Ashford brothers will dominate. Eric Hipwood needs to pull his head in as well. Saturday, 12:35 p.m. at People's First Stadium. It's Gold Coast and the Giants. I'll be tipping the Giants by 1 point. I can't choose. I'm going the Giants by a point, even though it's up on the Gold Coast. 1:20 on Saturday, Victorian time at Marvel, Carlton and Port. I'll be tipping Port Adelaide in this one by 10 points. 4:15 at the MCG on Saturday, it's Hawthorn and Melbourne. I'll be tipping Hawthorn in this one by 40 points. 7:35 p.m. Adelaide Oval, Adelaide and Collingwood. I'll be tipping Collingwood in this one to bounce back by 10 points. They apparently got a good record at Adelaide Oval, which they do. The game's on Sunday, 1:10 at Ninja Stadium in Hobart. It's North and Richmond, 1:10. I'll be tipping Richmond in this one by 10 points. 3:15 p.m. Sydney, SCG. Sydney hosting Geelong, 3:15 on Sunday, Victorian time and Sydney time. I'll be tipping Geelong, unfortunately, in this one by 5 points. I would have tipped Sydney had Brodie Grundy played. And the last game to end round 23, the second last round of the home and away season. Western Bulldogs and West Coast at Marvel Stadium, 4:40 Victorian time. The odds are outrageous, but who cares what the odds say? That's just complete crap, and never listen to the odds. Don't do that crap. I'll be tipping the Bulldogs by 15 points. I think they'll get complacent. I think it's just going to happen, and West Coast will give them a scare like they gave Adelaide this week. Now, my final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. If you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any state league players, you want to see them on the podcast in a Golden Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message or try and get something sorted. The AFLW is back tomorrow night. Let's go! And thank you for watching. Until the next video, take care and go you mighty Saints. Go the Saints.